Kevin Durant said, "You know who I am," and he showed it again when he delivered in that Game 2 win for the New Jersey Nets. I'm sorry, the Brooklyn Nets. We all think of them as Jersey, but Brooklyn stand up after that one. I'm a Knicks fan, and I still got to say that was an impressive game. Wouldn't you say, Ricky?
Impressive. Yeah, I mean, impressive how dominant they are. Impressive how fraudulent the Bucks are. I mean, really, you don't show.
Is it more about the Bucks or is it more about the Nets?
No, I mean, it was more about the Nets. It showed everyone, hey, we don't even need Harden to beat the Bucks. So it is more about the Nets, but it's just really a big from last year to this year. And again, you know me, to me, the Nets are winning the whole thing. I said that from the beginning. Mm-hmm. As soon as they got Harden, that was it. Mm-hmm. But to me, damn, the Bucks, you don't even show up without Harden. Like, this was a game that you could win and say, hey, we got one. Yeah, Harden's hurt. Hey, you know what? He might not be here for Game 3, and we could win. Now you say, oh, it changes everything. You didn't even show up. You didn't even show up to say, hey, we could maybe win Game 3 without Harden.
And you know what's really crazy to me, especially about this game? You scored 86 points total for your whole game. 5 minutes into the fourth quarter, or 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you were just getting over the 70-something point mark. The Hawks scored that in one half of basketball versus the 76ers in Game 1. I think that shows how inept the Bucks were on offense. And this is after a game where they shot 20% from the field, as they did in Game 1. And I think that one of the big things that we got to look at here, I mean, this final score was 125-86. In the first quarter alone, they were so dominant that it was insane. They at one point had almost a 50-point lead. Like, how do you have a 50-point lead in the game? I think that's where all the analysts were really coming down on these Bucks, and they're saying, you cannot get beat this bad. And like you said, there is no Harden. How do you not come out with more sense of urgency and more desire? Greek Freak, I'm looking right at you, buddy. You suck. What the hell are you doing? You can't defend. You're not scoring. You're pulling up for shots. If you see the way Blake Griffin is defending him, Blake Griffin is standing at the free throw line saying, shoot it, because once you come in, we're going to collapse on you. And he's been neutralized. He's been neutered. He's not the Greek Freak. He's just Greek.
So I think another big take. So look, again, to me, the Nets were going to win. So to me, it's not a big surprise. Yes, it's a big surprise how they're dominant.
Yes.
Without Harden, yes.
With no Harden? You telling me you can't get one game? Yeah. Nah, that's a problem.
To me, though, at the end of this series, whatever, probably go forward, they're going to sweep.
You have to break up
the big story is going to be, where do you put Giannis? Like he can't be considered any of the elite guys. Like he
can never be considered for defensive player again. He can never, ever, ever.
That's a seasonal thing. I don't want to get into that. I know what
Giannis' name. You know what? It's time to put it.
But the season, the playoffs are different.
This guy who got just cooked, absolutely cooked. He couldn't even hold Kevin Durant's jockstrap. It was so bad. And you're telling me this Giannis cat is the future of the NBA? You're telling me Giannis is a defensive player of the year? No, he's not.
The defensive player of the year, though, goes for season. They don't mix it up.
You know what? A guy like Gobert should have won it. Gobert should have won it last year. I mean, you can't give it to a guy like even Ben Simmons. You cannot give it to a guy like Ben Simmons, especially these perimeter defenders, because so many of them get cooked like this. And you may be good. You may get yourself on 55% of the possessions. You're able to play good defense. But Kevin Durant shot over 50% in this game. And Greek Freak was supposed to be the best defensive player that you could possibly put on him in the NBA. Other than Ben Simmons, there is no player that's better suited to guard Kevin Durant than Giannis. None.
Well, I mean, it just shows how much better Kevin Durant is than Giannis. But again, to me, it's going to be a big. Giannis has to look in the mirror. The Bucks have to look in the mirror and say, "Hey, what do we have here? What are we going to do? Who else can we add? Are we able to add anyone?"
That's what they did this offseason. And that Bogdanovic move, we were talking about earlier as we were watching this Hawks game. Bogdan Bogdanovic would have been absolutely necessary for this Bucks team to compete with the Nets.
Yeah.
And let's face it, this Nets team, when they were constructed in the offseason, already had KD and Kyrie. So the
Yeah.
Bucks knew that's who you were matching up with.
Well,
And guess what?
that's
But hold on, let me finish. They traded for Harden, which gutted their team, and they lost Spencer Dinwiddie, and you're still getting blown out with everyone available.
well. I think even when we were talking about it, when they made the holidays, the first thing I said was that does not compete with what the Nets have with KD and Kyrie. It does not. Yes, you were bitter. You're right on Holiday. Like he's been such a great
But you know what that means?
addition. But I said it from that's just not enough. Is that I think I question. I go, is that enough to even keep Giannis happy? I guess he was because he sounded happy in the offseason, right, about it.
Yeah.
But what I even said, I questioned that even because I was like, Holiday's not enough with KD and Kyrie over there in Brooklyn. You add Harden, it was
and bro, you're looking at a team in the Bucks that's top 5 record, top 6. That's a top 6 team in the NBA all year. Last year was a number 1 seed, had a 2-time MVP, have a defensive player of the year, have all these necessary things. Like, if this team is this far away from the Nets, pack this shit up. Everyone
But I think everyone in the East is this far away from the Nets, Steve. That's not fair.
Not just the East. Not just the East.
No,
If
you're right.
Bucks are
Maybe
getting washed like this, what kind of like I get it. Utah's a different team. But can I give Utah a real shot when I think the Bucks versus Utah is a close game? I think the Bucks versus any of these teams is close, and they just washed Miami, who went to the finals last year. So it's not like they're scrubbed. They washed. Like, how far away is Miami then? If you got swept by the Bucks and the Bucks can't hold the Nets jockstrap, Miami, what the fuck?
So my thing is with again, no one in the East is going to compete with the Nets. This is just this is one of these things that unless one of these guys get hurt, something happens, no one's competing with them, right? Mm-hmm. So really, you get to the West. You say Utah.
There's only 3 teams: Utah, Clippers,
and I think
Suns.
Who the Nuggets, right?
No, Suns. I got Suns over Nuggets.
No. So I have the same thing. I actually have Clippers as the team for me to compete with the Nets.
Yes. Like when I think about it, I think that is the team. And the only reason why is because it's the one matchup that everyone probably wants to see. And it's the probably most hyped and most headlined. It would be Kevin Durant versus Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard now is probably the only man in the NBA that can stop him. Because you saw what Kawhi did once he went on to Luka.
Yes. So I think the Clippers are over that. Just Kawhi alone brings a presence and a calmness to where I don't think he'll ever, like Giannis is doing, let them get blown out, let them never be reachable. Like I think Clippers will be in it, even if people are talking about 8-9 by the fourth quarter. That's still in it. You're still in it there. You're not, and the Nets are not a defensive team, no matter what Milwaukee's showing. They're not a defensive team. So
we can say that, but
they haven't been all year. They haven't been all year.
You know what? They haven't. But you know what? This is what the Heat did.
They've been one of the worst.
The Heat were not defensively minded until the playoffs happened. And defense is more about effort and hustle than it is about skill. So you can improve defensively like that during the playoffs. And I think the Nets, especially Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they're locked in. These dudes are not taking it off. It's not like the regular season because guess what? The Bucks team just washed Miami, shooting like 50% from 3-point. Now they can't even get to 20%. And I know that's partly nerves, but that's also defense. And the one thing about that Nets, and it's contrary to most people believe, their offense could be some of their best defense. Because when you're scoring that much and that efficiently, the guys are going to start getting tight. And now
it's not even. Also, they're going to get tired. They're going to. You're wearing them out on one end. Where if we can't score, every time we score, they're scoring, and we come back and we can't score. So all the time you're playing defense the whole time. Your offense is going to take hits. Your shots are going to start missing. Again, to me, as I say, Clippers are the team to me that can beat them. If Paul George shows up,
I'll be honest with you though. I don't think the Clippers beat Utah.
Who?
I don't think the Clippers beat Utah.
No. I don't. I think I told you already. Nets win the whole thing. But I'm saying anyone that's going to compete, Clippers are to me the team to compete.
But I'll tell you this though, I really would love to see either the Suns or the Jazz face them because I think that the difference between the Jazz and the Suns are very much like the Bucks. They're a good overall team. They have 3 really solid guys, 4, 5 solid guys that can hold you down, and they have those one superstars, Kevin Booker and Mitchell, who it's like Giannis can't shoot for shit, so they're able to skag off them. When you have a Mitchell and you have a Booker, you can't do that. So it would make the game a little bit more competitive. I think those are the 3 teams that I mean. It's a good matchup, but if James Harden's back, because I'm talking about this as if Harden's not back. If Harden's back, no team in the NBA stands a chance.
No, and I remember we were talking about it at one of the podcasts with the other guy. I forgot his name was Brandon. Yeah,
Coach B.
Basically, Coach B. And I said it there. I go, even if they lose, as long as it's not KD, they will still win this whole thing. Again, to me, it's. A lot of times sports is not, I know it's all analytics. We love it. But sometimes it's just, hey, who's beating these 3 players? No one.
But I'll be honest with you, man.
No one's beating those 3 players.
And you know me. I've probably been the biggest Kevin Durant stan you may have known in your life. Like, you know me. Like, back in the day, I was like, Westbrook is the reason why Durant stunks. I supported the move that he did to the Warriors because I know in Kevin Durant's head and mind, he wants to be considered better than LeBron. And what LeBron had done and the way he had set up the Heat and the Cavs, if Kevin Durant didn't win some chips, he would have not gotten that legacy. And for me, the way I look at Kevin Durant, he doesn't really care about the personal accolades. He doesn't care about who he's playing with. He wants to win. That's what he wants. He wants the rings. He wants to be on the floor for championships. And that's why he took the move to Golden State. He was cool playing second fiddle, but when it came to the big games, he was the number 1 gun. And same thing when it comes to here with the Nets. He has Kyrie. He has Harden. But when it comes down to the clutch, it's Kevin Durant. And
it's Kevin Durant's team. It was always his team from the beginning. When you get 2 megastars. So basically what you're saying, and the same thing that I was telling you last year about the Lakers, and when you kept saying, Lakers are going to lose, Lakers, I go, Steve, when you have LeBron James healthy and AD healthy, the rest of the cast means, I'm sorry, it's interchangeable. Most of the time, when you have 2 talents like that, that's what happened.
You can't say that because look at what happened to.
No, but this year you can't say that because AD was hurt. They didn't come in the same. But last year you saw it. AD and James took care of everything, and that's only 2 top 5 players. When you have, and that's what I mean, 2 top 5 players. Now the Nets have 2 top 5 players and a third one in the top 10.
And the thing about Kyrie is he may not be top 5, but he's top 5 scorers.
Yes.
So that's
to me, he's a top 10 player in the NBA.
Yeah, but I'm saying like as a score, like pure scorers, the number 1 scorer in the NBA is Kevin Durant, and I would say maybe the number 2 scorer could be Kyrie Irving.
I don't know anyone. He makes buckets and he gets to the rim like I've never seen before.
The only other player that I can put in that conversation is Luka. He's the only other player that you can get buckets like that, and maybe Booker. That's the 4 players that you're looking at. That's like scoring, like and maybe Mitchell as that 5th guy. And
I would put Tatum over Mitchell.
That's debatable, but like you're looking at those guys as like the guys, and clearly we know Tatum ain't on Durant's level after what Durant did to him in that series. So now my question to you is, and we'll wrap this out because now I mean I've switched my picks. I thought the Bucks would I got the Nets winning it all. As long as Kevin Durant is healthy, if James Harden comes back, they're sweeping everyone. Yeah. Like they're not losing a game.
Boston was impressive by winning 1 game. How about that?
Absolutely. And they had Harden.
And again, that was Tatum 50 points.
Yep. And I also think that the Nets smell the blood in the water. Like they knew.
Not yet. No, they don't like the Bucks. I don't think the Nets like the Bucks. And I don't mean. I know you heard what Jay Williams said, that KD said about Giannis.
KD had come out and said that Jay Will was lying.
Yeah, he was lying. Again, I'll be honest. I don't know who to believe there. Right. I don't know why Jay Williams would make up such a lie like that. But I don't believe KD would get that angry if he didn't believe. Hey, I never said that to you. But again, like you said, I don't think it's a personal thing. But I do think, hey, Milwaukee's just not on our level. They're talking about Milwaukee like they have a chance with us.
But they should. What also comes down to? Their coach is shit. Mike B, if they lose game 3, I fire Mike during the series. And I'm not even joking. Because you know what? You're already down 3-0. You need something to maybe get a spark. Your season's already basically over. Mike, get the fuck out of here. You suck. you suck bad because you're
But no,
game.
I mean,
How do you open the game with the zone defense on the Nets when they're a good shooting team? What kind of moronic stupidity is that? You're really saying, hey, Nets, we know you're a great shooting team. You shoot like 40% from three. We'll play a 2-3 zone. Let's see how many of these you can hit. Oh, shit. We're down 50 points in the first half. You fucking moron.
No, I mean, look, he's going to be in
He's
the hot
fired.
seat after the.
No, he's not. There's no hot seat. He's fired.
More than likely, I think you're right. He's gone.
And
again,
here's the other thing. Brooke Lopez came in saying, we want to dominate in the paint. 4 of 10, 2 of 3 from 3-point. You need to be in the paint. You were putting in work in game 1 in the paint, and you weren't there. And the last thing I want to touch on about the next team that we completely didn't realize, this boy Blake Griffin.
So I know people joke. I know that's the joke that
he's playing games.
He was, bro. Though, if that's pretty dirty, if he did that,
he did get traded to Detroit from Clippers, and Detroit stunk, and they were tanking. Remember, they traded Drummond for nothing. They traded Drummond for pennies on a dollar, and then they don't even sign Christian Wood back. So I mean, the Pistons were tanking. Why would he waste his energy like that?
No, but this was already a year. Like, the whole time that he's been there,
bro, he's had more dunks with the Nets in this season,
and that's what I mean. Like, that to me is a little just strange. Like,
that's not strange. That's I want out. You don't want to trade me? Fine. That's what it really, because he looks like
that to me. If that's you can't have that. Can't have that in sports. Steve, you can't have that in sports. Stop. Honestly, you can't. Like, it's not even a joke. You can't have that in sports.
You can't have that in sports. But that happens.
You can't be paid that amount of money and say, you know what, I'm not going to try. I'm not going to try.
Have you heard of Randy Moss? Did you hear about Randy Moss when he's with the Oakland Raiders? He did that. Okay, he's an all-time legend, Hall of Famer.
But again, you can't do that.
So
it's not right in sports. It's not something you would teach your kids to do.
You're not going to teach it, but you know what? If you're a good player like that and you went to purgatory, which is the Detroit Pistons, I don't blame you.
It doesn't matter. You're still getting paid. It's not your. There's a reason you're tradable. You're a contract. That's part of it.
Yeah, but there's also a reason why he didn't have that many dunks with the. He has more dunks in. Like,
I get it, but that's what I'm saying too. If he at any point was really faking and just not wanting,
not faking, it's just he wasn't going all in. He was saving his body.
Then that's wrong. Then if that is the truth, I wouldn't want Blake Griffin ever on my team. I wouldn't want.
Look at him now. That's why he's winning. Because you know why? Because here's the thing. If the Pistons ain't winning and actively trying to win, then why am I doing
No, I don't know if they're not actively. You are getting paid for you not to try. I don't want you ever on my team.
Well, that's why
when you can leave your other teammates out like that, I don't want you on your team. That's why Harden got so much shit. That's why Harden got so much.
You know what? I do get what you're saying, and you have a contract and all that. But with these front offices screwing over some of these players, and they know that their health is their livelihood, I can understand why some of them pull back.
Not for that long.
I mean, again, you can't argue with the facts. He looks way more athletic than
way more better. And part of that is just new. Look,
yeah,
it's you go from a losing team to a winning team. It's going to in general like that. I truly don't believe Blake Griffin did that. I don't know why he's dunking more now, but I just believe his energy, his thing went up. Do I think he purposely faked things? No, I don't think he did.
I don't mean as like he's faking things, but
people are saying that he's faked it, that he literally robbed money from the Detroit.
Well, I mean, yes, but no. But like, he basically didn't go all in. Like, he was playing, he played hard, he played through injury, but he ain't giving you 150. Like with the Nets now, he's giving 150. And the other thing is he has other big time players which are drawing, from the defense around him, which does gives him.
He's not the main guy because Blake Griffin is not the main player in any team.
Right. Well, now, but back then he was. But now I cannot lie. He's the perfect complement.
Blake Griffin was never the number one guy in any team. He can never carry a team on any team. Don't say that. Blake Griffin can never take anyone anywhere.
When it was Lob City, him and Chris Paul were pretty much even.
Yeah, but that was Chris Paul team still.
Yeah, it was pretty even.
Blake Griffin was not the number.
He was young, so I guess.
But he was like the entertainment. He was the flashy guy.
Yeah, Lob City style. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be the biggest thing to watch going forward for the series is actually how well does Blake play? Because if Blake plays like this, they're unbeatable.
There's
nobody that can beat them.
But I think Harden takes off for the rest of the week. I mean, for the rest of the series, that's just me.
Honestly, if I'm the Nets, after what I just saw, you're not playing either of the games in Milwaukee. Even if we lose both games, we're coming back home.
The only game you come back to is if we play Game 7.
maybe I give him game 5, depending on how he feels.
Nah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't even the next 2 or 3 games. I wouldn't play. Like if we're up 3-1, even 3-2, we're up. I'm not playing.
Right, but okay, and this is just the last hypothetical that we throw out there. But what if the Bucks all of a sudden become the Clippers? The Clippers were getting smoked by the Mavs.
Right,
they were down 2-0.
Win 2 games.
They did.
I'm saying. So you're saying the Bucks come back and win?
Well, I'm saying if they become the like, so they start doing that, right? They win the first 2 games, and now all of a sudden you're in that game 5, and let's just say you lose it, then you're in brink of elimination. You lost 3 in a row, then bringing back Harden would make sense. But for the most part, I do agree with you. You want to sit out Harden as long as you can, and as long as you have the lead, I don't bring him back. If we could win this series without Harden, I try to do that.
That would be my main objective.
Right. If it comes push to shove in game 5, game 6, he's ready and it's getting close, let's put him out on a limited basis. I don't want to push, even if he comes off the bench or something like that, but let the series dictate it. Don't rush him. At the earliest you see him is game 5, in my opinion. I don't let him play game 3. I don't let him play game 4, even if they lose both. I even may do like you said, give it game 5. And then when I'm looking at game 6, did I lose 3 in a row?
Yes.
Shit.
If I'm facing elimination and Harden can play, I'm putting him back.
Yep.
Until I get to that point, I'm not, That's why I said game 7 to me, because I don't see how they are in the elimination game before game 7.
Absolutely. And on that note, we're excited for the game. It is tonight. It's going to be the Bucks versus the Nets. I think we're all excited for this game tonight. We're going to be watching it. I'm definitely going to come on with someone. I got to definitely be talking about this Nets game after it's all done, because Kevin Durant, that's my dude. That's my dude. And here's the last question. If Kevin Durant wins 3 titles with the Nets, can he pass LeBron?
No. Oh, 3 titles with the Nets.
3 titles.
I thought you meant he wins his 3rd title right now. If he wins 3 in a row from here, then yes, he's very close to passing LeBron. Yes. Again, that means LeBron didn't win anything. He has 5 now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's
because if he wins 3 in a row, I would love.
But again, but Steve, now just the flip side. He loses this year somehow. He can never be talked about LeBron again.
But Ricky, like you said, the only thing stopping Durant.
But I'm just saying, if Kevin Durant's healthy, even if he doesn't have Harden come back, and especially if he has Harden come back, and he loses, he takes the hit.
Well, if he doesn't have Harden and they're facing a team like the Clippers or if they're facing a team like that, I'm not supposed to win that.
So then Kawhi's better than Kevin Durant.
If he gets to the finals and you traded all of that for Harden and now you're down assets versus a team like the Clippers and you lose, I have to see how the series go. Like, you're not going to tell me that you go game 7, you lose in 7 games, and you didn't have Harden at all, that you're going to say his legacy takes a hit.
But that, because it takes a hit, because then you're saying Kawhi Leonard is better than Kevin Durant, because he will have 3 titles, and he would have beat him with a better sidekick, a way better sidekick than Paul George.
Is Paul George way better than Kyrie?
No. What I'm saying to you is Kyrie's way better than Paul George.
That's what I'm saying. Is he really that much better than Paul?
Yes, he is. He's there's not even.
The difference is offensively. I agree with you 1,000%. But defensively, Paul George is not a scrub. Defensively, Paul George.
But he's not that much better. How Kyrie is that much better than him in offense. Kyrie is a much better player than Paul George. But
Paul George is a much
no superstar that you put, or no basketball player. Most people, if you tell them the truth, they're not going to pick Paul George in the pickup game. They're not picking Paul George.
But in the pickup game, yeah. But if we're talking about series,
still,
I think it's a lot closer than you.
So that's what I'm saying to you. Kyrie's the better sidekick, better teammate, right? And you lose to Kawhi. That means Kawhi's better than KD. Then you can't have it both ways. He can't win.
Here's the thing.
In that conversation, and if he loses to Kawhi takes a step over KD.
I have to see how that series goes, because if KD is scoring 40 points, averaging 50,
you just said he's not about individual stats. You're
right. But here's my point. Here's my point. Here's my point. Let me finish my point. If he's averaging 55% shooting, 45 points per game, you're gonna tell me his legacy still takes a hit?
Yes, because he didn't win, Steve. It doesn't matter.
Shit.
Yeah, so you're telling me it's about to win.
He could have the best finals in NBA history,
and if he
his legacy would hit.
And he loses, he will take a hit. And again, now you're talking about Kawhi being better than KD. Now people are saying, hey, I'm not taking KD because we just saw them face up. And KD had the better team. And he still lost.
No, KD was out.
No, what I'm saying to you is right now, if they face in the finals and KD has Kyrie and Kawhi has only Paul George and they face, it's very easy to say, hey, Kawhi just
that's closer to an even matchup than it is a like.
No, it's not. Stop it, Steve. It's not an even matchup. Now, when you're saying KD is the best player in the NBA, right?
But Kawhi is a top 3 player in the NBA, so it's not. That's the only team that we could say that about.
But Paul George,
like if they lost to the Suns like that, I wouldn't feel the same way. But if you lose to Kawhi like that,
but Paul George is not a top 10 player, and Kyrie is a top 10 player.
But what if in that series Paul George outplays Kyrie? That's why I say I gotta see. I gotta see before I can.
No. There's no gotta see, Steve. There's no gotta see. KD, listen. KD takes a hit like no other. If he loses, if he doesn't win this,
you know what? But you know what? You know who he is. He ain't losing.
I hope not.
If he's healthy, he ain't losing.
I don't think so either.
You know what?
I picked him from the beginning.
When it's all said and done, he's already the greatest scorer that's ever played in basketball. That's undeniable. He's a walking bucket.
You're talking about the GOAT, so we're not talking about all that.
Yes.
It's chips, and he cannot lose this year, Steve. Steve, he cannot lose this year. You can say all he wants. He loses this chip, God forbid.
Yep.
God forbid.
But the way it looks, you know who he is. You know what's going to happen. And on that note, we are out. Until next time. Let's go, KD! Yes, I'm a Knicks fan, but let's go, KD!
No rooting over here for them.
Yeah, you know you are. I want a parade, bro. We paying.
I want Phoenix Suns. That's it.
I want a parade out here in New York.
That would be fun. I'm not gonna lie. Later.
Peace out, everybody.